Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the invisible technologies that move all our data. And we're not just talking about how it travels, we're going to dig into how we can be absolutely sure we can trust it.
Okay, so to really get a handle on the modern economy, you've got to understand how information actually moves. And it all boils down to one fundamental question. So, how does data actually move around in our digital world? Well, it's not like there's just one single highway, right? It's way more complex. Turns out there are two totally different philosophies for sending a message from point A to point B, and each one has its own major pros and cons. The best way to think about it is like this. On one side, you've got the heavy shipping container. It's massive, it's complex, it's super structured. It's built to hold a ton of information in a really, really organized way. But on the other side, you have a high-speed pulse of pure energy. It's light, it's agile, it's efficient, and it's designed for one thing and one thing only: speed. Now, that whole shipping container and pulse thing, that's not just a cute analogy. They represent two very real technologies that are working behind the scenes, like all the time. So yeah, let's meet the two main characters in our story. First up, we've got JSON. This is our high-speed pulse. It's the engine that powers all the live parts of the internet you use every day. You know when you get a real-time notification from your banking app? Or when your social media feed updates the second you pull it down? Yep, that's the magic of JSON right there. It's all about speed and efficiency. And then you have its counterpart, XML. This is our heavy shipping container. XML is designed for what we call record data. Think of it as like the bedrock for official long-term information. It's built for pure robustness, for super detailed record keeping, making sure every single piece of data is perfectly described and organized. So this brings us to the big trade-off, right? Speed versus structure. And it's really not about which one is better, it's all about which one is right for the job. You have to ask, are we trying to move fast or are we trying to carry a really detailed, heavy load? And here's where it gets practical. JSON's efficiency, it is king on mobile. I mean, it literally saves your phone's battery and uses less of your precious data. But XML? Well, XML is the absolute master of documentation. Its power to describe everything in detail is critical for carrying all that metadata you need in, say, complex business or government systems. And this slide just lays it all out perfectly. You need instant speed for your banking app? JSON. Real-time payment feeds through an API like Stripe? That's JSON again. But what about a formal legal contract that needs a rigid, unchangeable structure? That's a job for XML. A patient's medical record where every detail has to be strictly validated. XML. And those huge, complex government or international banking filings, you guessed it, XML. Okay, so this all sounds great, but there's a catch. A big one. This flexibility, the fact that we can write and send data in these different ways, it actually creates a massive problem. And it's a problem that strikes right at the heart of digital security and, well, trust itself. I mean, think about it for a second. Let's say I send you a file. You open it, maybe you accidentally add an extra space somewhere, and then you save it. To us, as humans, the information is still exactly the same, right? But to a computer, whoa, the physical file has changed. So how on earth can we verify a digital signature if the file itself can be changed so easily, even by accident? So that leads us to the one true version. How do we solve this huge problem of trust? Well, the answer is a really elegant concept. It's something that gives us both that flexibility we need and absolute certainty. The answer is something called a canonical form, and you can just think of it as the one true version of the data. It's a way to create a single authoritative standard for a file, basically by stripping away all the non-essential stuff, things like extra spaces or the order of certain data elements, anything that doesn't actually change the core meaning of the information.
And this process has a name, canonicalization. It works just like a funnel. Imagine pouring in a bunch of messy, differently formatted files at the top. They all mean the same thing, but they look different. The funnel then applies a super strict set of standardization rules. And what comes out the bottom? A single, clean, physically identical file, every single time. No exceptions. Okay, so now we get to the payoff. We've simplified the data, we can create this one true version. Cool, but why does this matter so much? What's the actual tangible payoff for businesses, for security, and just for our ability to trust anything in the digital world? And here it is. This is the secret sauce to creating unbreakable digital signatures.
By canonicalizing a file before you sign it, you're essentially creating a permanent, verifiable lock on it. Then, to check that signature, anyone, anywhere, can just run that same file through the canonicalization funnel again, and if the signature matches, you know with 100% certainty that nothing has changed. This right here, this is the whole point. It guarantees security without sacrificing interoperability. We get the best of both worlds. We get absolute trust, mathematical certainty in our data, even while that data is zipping between thousands of different computer systems that might all format things a little differently. It's how you guarantee rock-solid security without breaking the ability for all those systems to talk to each other. So let's just recap. At the end of the day, it really boils down to 3 core ideas. You've got JSON, whose primary job is speed, that's for your live data. You've got XML, which is all about structure, for your record data. And then you have the canonical form, which ties it all together by providing the one thing you can't live without: trust.
Yeah, this phrase just nails it. JSON for speed, XML for structure, canonical for trust. That's it. That's data at scale. To run our modern digital economy, you absolutely need all 3. You need that lightning speed from JSON, that rigid structure from XML, and that unwavering foundational trust that only canonicalization can provide.
And that's our explainer. So we'll leave you with this question. Now that you know this framework of trust, where else do you see this constant push and pull, this tension between speed and structure in your own digital life? Because believe me, it's everywhere. Thanks for tuning in.